In a quiet town where news traveled fast, lived a young woman named Naomi. She was an orphan, quiet but very hardworking. Naomi only had one thing in the world, a job at a small shop where she washed, pressed, and folded clothes for people who barely noticed her. The shop was more than just her workplace. It was her home. A small mat in the corner was where she slept each night, and a single cup and plate were all she owned. Still, Naomi was thankful. "At least I have somewhere to stay," she often whispered to herself. One sunny morning, Naomi sat on her mat, eating her tiny bowl of soaked cereal. Her boss had just opened the shop, and the first customer, a well-dressed woman in a bright yellow dress, walked in. Naomi quickly wiped her hands on her dress and got a cup of water to wash her face before starting her work. As she stepped out, she didn't see the woman stepping in at the same time. They bumped into each other. "Hey, are you blind?" the woman yelled, looking at her dress, which was now wet with water. Naomi's heart sank. "Oh, sorry ma'am. I didn't see you. Please let me clean it." She reached out to touch the cloth. "Don't touch me," the woman snapped, backing away. "Do you know how costly this dress is, you dirty girl?" Naomi looked down. "I'm very sorry, ma'am. It was an accident." "An accident?" the woman shouted, her voice sharp and loud. "Is that how people who work here behave? No manners, no training." Before Naomi could speak, the woman marched past her and went into the small office where Naomi's boss sat. Naomi stood still, her hands shaking. She could hear the woman's angry voice. "Fire her," the woman shouted. "If this is the kind of person you hire, I'm taking my business somewhere else. I can't deal with such carelessness." Naomi's boss, a man with no hair and tired eyes, tried to calm her. "Ma'am, please, it's not that bad. She's a good worker." "I don't care," the woman screamed. "If you don't sack her, I'm finished with your shop. And don't forget, my fiancé is one of your biggest clients." The boss sighed heavily. He walked out of the office and called Naomi. She stepped forward, her heart beating like a drum. "Naomi," he said gently, avoiding her eyes. "I don't know how to say this. Please, sir, I didn't mean to." Naomi interrupted. "Naomi," he cut her off. "You've been a good worker, but I can't afford to lose a customer like her. I'm sorry, but you'll have to leave." Naomi fell to her knees. "Oh, sir, please don't do this. I have nowhere to go. This is where I live, where I eat. Please, sir, don't send me away." Her boss looked at her with pity, but he shook his head. "Naomi, I'm sorry. My hands are tied." The well-dressed woman stood by the door, smiling unkindly. "That will teach you to watch where you're going," she said before leaving loudly. Naomi sat on the floor, tears streaming down her face. Her world had just broken apart. Where would she go? How would she live? The day was just starting, but for Naomi, it already felt like the end. Naomi sat on the floor of the laundry shop, her face buried in her hands. The crying wouldn't stop. She looked up at her boss one last time. "Sir, please. I don't have anywhere to go. I will work harder. I will wake up earlier. Please don't send me away." Naomi begged, her voice shaking. Her boss sighed deeply, rubbing his forehead. "Naomi, it's not about your hard work. You know I value you. But that woman is my best customer. If I lose her, it will hurt my business. I'm sorry, but you have to leave." "But where will I go?" Naomi cried. "This is the only place I have. How will I eat? Please, sir, have mercy on me." "Naomi," he said, avoiding her teary eyes. "I've already decided. You can't stay here anymore. Just pack your things." Naomi felt like her world was ending. She looked around the small shop where she had spent the last 2 years. It wasn't much, but it had been her home. She had no family, no friends, and no money. That evening, with only a small bag of her clothes, Naomi walked without direction through the streets. The sun had set, and the town was quiet except for the sound of passing cars. She felt invisible, like the world had forgotten she existed. As she wandered, she saw an unfinished building. The walls were high, but there were no doors or windows yet. She peeked inside and saw a flat surface of concrete blocks. It wasn't safe, but it was better than sleeping on the street. Naomi climbed inside, put her bag on the cold floor, and sat down. "God, please help me," she whispered. She lay on the floor, using her shawl as a blanket. The night was long and cold, but she stayed awake, her mind full of worries about what tomorrow would bring. The next morning, the sound of voices woke Naomi. She sat up quickly, surprised to see a group of men walking into the building, holding tools and wearing hard hats. They stopped when they saw her. "Who are you and what are you doing here?" one of the men asked, his voice firm but not unkind. Naomi stood up, her hands trembling. "Please sir, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to stay here. I lost my job, and I'm hoping to have the chance to work here. Please, I can work. Let me help with the building. I'll do anything." The men looked at each other, some shaking their heads. "This is not a job for women," one of them said. "It's hard work, lifting heavy blocks, mixing cement. Are you sure you can do it?" "I can do it, sir," Naomi said, her voice strong. "I'm strong. Please, just give me a chance." The men paused, talking quietly among themselves. Finally, one of them said, "You have to talk to the boss. He'll be here soon." Naomi nodded. "Thank you, sir. I'll wait." She sat quietly in a corner of the building, watching as the workers started their tasks. The smell of cement filled the air, and the sound of hammers echoed around her. Naomi felt a small spark of hope. After about an hour, a tall man in a white shirt and safety boots walked into the building. His face was serious, and he looked like someone who demanded respect. The workers quickly gathered around him, explaining Naomi's situation. The man walked up to Naomi, his eyes looking her up and down. "So you want to work here?" he asked, his voice deep. "Yes, sir," Naomi said, standing straight. "I have no place to go, and I need to survive. I will do my best." The man raised an eyebrow. "This is not a place for playing. If you cannot handle it, you will leave. Do you understand?" "Yes, sir, I understand." "All right," he said after a long pause. "You can start tomorrow." Naomi's face lit up. "Thank you, sir." "God bless you, sir." As the workers returned to their jobs, Naomi sat in the corner, tears running down her face. This time, not from sadness, but from a small chance. The next morning, Naomi started her first day on the site. The sun was hot, and the work was harder than she expected. She carried heavy blocks on her head, mixed cement with sand, and brought water from a nearby tap. Her arms hurt and her legs felt weak, but she didn't stop. The workers watched her with surprise. "Wow, this girl is really strong," one of them said. Another laughed. "Honestly, she's even working better than some of the guys here." Naomi ignored their comments and kept working. She knew she had no choice. This was her second chance, and she couldn't ruin it. A week later, the owner of the building, Mr. Francis, arrived unexpectedly. He was a well-dressed man with a calm but important presence. As he walked around the site, checking the work, he noticed something strange in the corner of the site. A young girl was carrying heavy blocks on her head. Her clothes were dirty with cement, and sweat dripped down her face, but she didn't stop. "Who is that girl?" Mr. Francis asked the engineer, pointing at Naomi. The engineer hesitated, then answered, Sir, her name is Naomi. She has been working with us for about a week now." "Why is she doing this kind of work?" "This is not work for a young girl," Mr. Francis said, frowning. The engineer explained how Naomi had nowhere to go and had begged to be allowed to work. "She's very hard-working, sir. She doesn't complain, and she gets the job done." Mr. Francis shook his head. "This is not right. Call her here." The engineer nodded and waved Naomi over. She quickly wiped her face with the edge of her dress and walked to where they were standing. "Good morning, sir," Naomi said, bowing slightly. Morning, Mr. Francis said, his voice kind but serious. What's your name? Naomi, sir. Naomi, why are you doing this kind of work? Don't you know it's dangerous and too hard for someone like you? Naomi looked down. Sir, I have no other choice. I need to survive. Please, sir, don't send me away. I'll do anything to keep this job. Mr. Francis sighed deeply. This is not the life a young girl like you should live. You can't continue here. I'll speak to the engineer. You have to stop this work. Naomi's heart dropped. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. Tears filled her eyes as she looked at Mr. Francis, hoping he would change his mind. The sun was setting when the engineer called Naomi aside. His face looked sad, and Naomi's heart sank even before he spoke. Naomi, he began slowly, Mr. Francis said you can't continue working here. He said it's for your own good. You are too young to be carrying this kind of heavy load. Naomi's chest felt tight. Sir, please, I have nowhere to go. I'll work harder, I promise. I don't even mind sleeping here. The engineer shook his head. It's not my choice. You have to leave. I'm sorry. You know what they say, every sadness is a future blessing. I believe God will give you a better chance. Tears fell from Naomi's eyes as she packed a few things and moved to another unfinished building. That night, as she lay on the cold concrete floor, Naomi felt more alone than ever. She hugged herself, shaking in the night air. God, why me? She whispered, her voice trembling. What did I do to deserve this? But no answer came. Meanwhile, Mr. Francis went to the laundry shop to pick up his freshly cleaned clothes. The owner greeted him warmly. Good evening, sir. Welcome. Good evening, Mr. Francis replied as he handed over his ticket. While waiting for his clothes, he looked around the shop, his thoughts returning to Naomi. Something about her had stayed with him, and he couldn't shake the feeling that she needed help. Excuse me, he said to the owner. Do you know a girl named Naomi? She used to work here. The owner's happy look faded. Naomi? She had a problem with one of our customers. The woman was not happy and asked me to fire her. It was your fiancé, Chinny, that said she must go. Mr. Francis blinked in surprise. Chinny? Are you sure? Yes, sir. She was very upset that Naomi spilled water on her clothes. She even threatened to stop bringing her laundry here if I didn't fire the girl. Francis was silent for a moment. Do you know where Naomi is now? The owner shook his head. No idea, sir. She just left like that. I don't think she had anywhere to go. Francis thanked the owner and collected his clothes, but his mind was worried. Why would Chinny go so far as to get a girl fired over something so small? And where was Naomi now? As he drove home that evening, Francis felt a deep sense of guilt. He knew he had to find Naomi, no matter how long it took. A few days later, Naomi was walking along the roadside, her thin shoes barely protecting her feet from the rough ground. She wrapped her arms around herself, hoping to find some warmth. The road was quiet, except for the occasional fast-moving car. Suddenly, bright headlights shone on the path ahead, and a black SUV slowed down beside her. The window rolled down, and a familiar voice called out, Naomi! She froze, trying to see who it was. It was Mr. Francis. Sir. Naomi's voice was shaky, unsure if she should run or stay. What are you doing here at this time of night? Francis asked, his voice full of worry. I don't have anywhere to go, she admitted quietly, looking at the ground. Francis frowned. Get in the car. Naomi hesitated. Sir, I don't want to bother you. You're not bothering me. I can't leave you here like this. Please, enter. After a moment, Naomi climbed into the car. As they drove, Francis asked her about her life. She told him about the laundry job, the unfinished building, and how she had been trying to survive. Francis sighed deeply. You're too young to be going through all this. You'll come to my house. I'll find work for you there. Naomi's eyes grew wide. Your house? But sir, No buts, Francis interrupted. You need help, and I can help. Don't worry. Naomi finally nodded. Thank you, sir. God bless you. When they arrived at Francis's house, it was already late. The large house was well lit with big windows and a neat garden. Naomi couldn't believe her eyes. As they stepped inside, Chinny appeared from the living room, her eyes narrowing when she saw Naomi. Who is this? Chinny demanded, her tone sharp. Francis remained calm. Her name is Naomi. She'll be staying here. What? Chinny's voice rose. This dirty girl in my house? Are you serious? Yes, I am, he replied firmly. She needs help, and I've decided to help her. That's final. Chinny threw her hands in the air. Francis, have you lost your mind? Do you know what people will say if they see her here? I don't care what people say, Francis said, his voice steady. Naomi is staying. She'll work here and have a place to sleep. Chinny glared at Naomi, who stood silently, feeling like she shouldn't be there. This is not your decision alone, Francis. It is now, Francis said. She'll be staying in the guest room. Mr. Francis then showed Naomi to her room. The bed looked soft, and there was even a small window with curtains. Naomi sat down slowly, her heart beating. As she lay down that night, she couldn't shake the feeling of worry. Chinny's anger had been clear, and Naomi knew that her troubles might not be over yet. From the moment Naomi started working in the house, Chinny treated her like an unwanted insect. Every little thing Naomi did seemed to upset her.